Hello, in this video I want to analyze the knight versus bishop endgame with the rooks. Firstly, a little theory. In the open positions and in the battles on different flanks, usually bishop is stronger than the knight. Also, the presence of the passable pawns improves the bishop. In the closed positions with the fixed pawn structure, the knight usually significantly better than the bishop. Having rooks on the board is beneficial for the bishop, as these two pieces interact better than the rook and the knight. In the next position, my bishop is poorly located on b1. Please suggest the plan how black can improve it. Also, which flank should black play on? My pawn on c6 is hanging, so firstly I decided to play c5, attacking the knight. He played knight to c6, now the pawn on a5 is under attack. I took on f2, knight takes a5. And this is important position for black. Here I found the only way to equalize the position and to improve my bishop. The solution is to put the pawn on f5. After this move my bishop comes to e4, then it would be very strong here, because the pawn on g2 will be the weakness. Also, black has a potential plan to play g5 and to start sudden attack against the white's king. It can be very dangerous even in the endgame. My opponent played king to g3, my rook is under attack, rook a2 attacking the pawn, rook takes c7, bishop b4. Now you can see that pawn on g2 is hanging and it's impossible to protect it. King f4, rook takes on g2, rook takes on c5. That's another critical moment. You see that my bishop is completely dominates the knight. Knight on a5 is out of play. And in this position, please offer how should black start pushing his pawns. Should black take on h4 firstly, or should black play g5 immediately? You see that white has his own plan. b4, b5, b6 can be very unpleasant for black. In this position, rook g4 is a slow line. After king e5, rook h4, b4, we should prefer white's position because b5 is coming. So I decided to play g5. I don't care about material situation, it's not important. If the task is to promote the pawn firstly, then the opponent. So g5, capture, king e5. Now it looks like my king is in mating net, but I was not sure that it's too dangerous. During the game I played g4, knight c6, threatening knight e7 fork, then knight e5, rook f2 was my reply. And in this position my opponent made the first inaccurate move. It was better to play knight d8, and now there is an interesting tricky line. In case of g3, suddenly white is winning, king f8, and now my king is in mating net. Knight to f7, bishop b7, the only way to prevent rook c8, rook to c7, g2, rook d6, the only way to stop the mate in one move, capture, knight f5. Something very similar was in the game Magnus Carlsen against Jan Nepomniachtchi. There Magnus also won the position knight and rook and pawns versus the queen. So in this position black can only resign and position is hopeless. But after knight d8, black can play rook d8, rook d2, knight e6, g3, and it's a perpetual check. So this way the game can end in a draw. But in the game my opponent played knight to e7. He also was looking for an attack. I played king g7. That was a clever idea, because after king f7, rook c7, my position is worse. Rook c7. And now what's the difference between king g7 or king f7? The difference is that I can play king to h6 and my king wants to escape this way. King f6, that probably was the last mistake in the game. c4 was stronger, but now white is the weakest side, and white should find many accurate moves. For example, in this position, after rook f1 before g1 queen, white is sacrificing the rook, knight f5, and for example, after bishop f5, king f5, rook a1, c5, white is in time to make a draw. But of course, in time troubles, it's very complicated for human. My opponent played king f6, looking for a mate to the black's king. I played g3. Also, it's important for such positions that for all the game, after I put the bishop on e4, it was very active. Yeah, it controlled all the board. It cut the knight, and even in this position, if I will play f4, this bishop can join the defense of my king. So it's very useful, and it's much better in the open position than his knight. So knight g6 was played, but this position is hopeless. g2, rook c8, king h5, the only move, but now my position is completely winning. And after rook h3, g1 queen, I promoted the queen and my opponent resigned here. That's all for today. I really like such topics, and I really recommend you to analyze such typical positions. Then bishop is stronger, then knight is stronger. I think it will help you to improve yourself in the endgames and in the middle games. That's all for today. I'll be happy to see your likes and comments under this video, and see you in the next videos.